What's up, everyone? Welcome back once again. Flicker Strike. Alright, well, I wasn't in a real hurry to get this video out. I apologize to those of you who really wanted to see it because of the current Challenge League Delve. Number one, I'm not playing it, so you will not see any gameplay footage of the Delve Challenge League on here, sorry. And number two, I really didn't think Flicker Strike would be a good build for it, so I didn't expect people to be interested because, you know, you got to follow the cart. If you go too far off into the darkness without the cart or your flares away from the light, you start to die. Flicker Strike can be very unpredictable sometimes and will shoot you halfway across the map even. So if you do that in the mines, you pretty much Flicker Strike yourself to death, and that would not be good, so I didn't think there'd be any interest. However, people are asking, so here we are. I got the video out, and again, I mentioned I'm not in the Challenge League, so this is just in standard. I'm just kicking back. I mentioned in my last video, just relaxing, waiting for Wolsten, Lords of Mayhem, to drop their beta. So I made this character purely just for fun, not trying to accomplish any challenges or anything like that, just because I've always wanted to. And I think I'm going to start this video off with a question that I got on YouTube that kind of made me think of a couple of different things. He asked, how many did you spend to set up a Flicker Strike? And I assume that was how much currency did you spend to set it up? My answer was none. And that was something I mean to say in every other one of my videos, and I forget. Every build you find on my page is built to try to run on just whatever rares you can possibly find. And I know not everybody is super rich or super lucky, so that's the foundation. All you need is just life, as much life as you can get, and get your resistances up. Anything from there is basically quality of life. Alright, what in the hell is this crazy ass man talking about now? Well, to help me demonstrate that a little bit, I've stripped off all of my gear. I don't want to die, so I came all the way back to Act 1. Bear with me, we'll get through it. I talked to Tarclay. I picked up 2 claws that have absolutely no stats other than, well, they're implicit, I can't do anything about that, and just a blue and a green socket that are linked so I could throw in Blasphemy, Support, and my Curse Poacher's Mark. When I was asked how much did I spend, I said none, because all this build requires to get going is Poacher's Mark the Curse and the Raider Ascendancy. I happen to have 2 of these laying around, so I threw them on for the additional 40% chance when you're dual wielding them to gain frenzy charges when killing a frozen enemy. However, the build does not require these at all. That's just quality of life, like I said a minute ago. So to demonstrate what I mean, we're going to rip these off. We'll throw on absolutely nothing while we're naked, and we'll go kill some stuff. So, Way of the Poacher. Chance to gain frenzy charges when hitting a rare or unique enemy and on kill. And then Poacher's Mark. That's all you need. You don't need to buy anything to get it going. Now, I also did mention this is not a build where you will get 100% Flicker Sustain. You cannot run into a boss room with no charges, Flicker Strike at him, and expect to just continue flickering him all the way to death. Not on this build. However, like a dummy, I forgot. Well, I guess I have to have Flicker Strike on to be able to show you this, huh? Yeah, whatever. And there's not enough enemies in Act 1, so I came to Act 4 to the Aqueducts. And let's see, right here, I stopped. The build did not stop flickering. I just quit attacking for some reason. And sorry, I just had to do something a second ago. And so now you can see for yourself. I'll hit inventory right there. There we go. And show you. I'm not trying to joke you guys in any way or cheat you or whatever. We're still in that same stuff. And there is nothing in my 6-link setup in that tabula rasa on my chest piece that helps sustain or gain frenzy charges on kill or on stun or anything. All 5 of those support gems are strictly added damage for Flicker Strike. So the only thing sustaining me right now is Poacher's Mark the Curse and the Raider Ascendancy node Way of the Poacher. Yeah, okay, dude, I think we got it now, so we'll just get into it. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, I did get through Uber Lab, and normally would go a little bit further, get into some more interesting stuff, but like I said, we're just kicking back now, so who cares? We're just gonna get right along into it. Level 85, resistances maxed out, like that's all you really care about, I guess. Evasion's a little bit low right now, but that's because I'm in my tabula rasa, so we don't really care about that at the moment. So I guess we'll just jump right into it, and I'm not going to really explain very much, and if you need a better look at the actual stats out of curiosity or something, just pause the video, because like I have been saying over and over and over, it's just whatever rares you can possibly find, looking for life and resistances, and then anything after that is just a bonus. Increased attack speed, like evasion if you want defense, strength, intelligence. You do need some intelligence for using blasphemy. I'll show that a little bit later. So you may have noticed Starkanya's head is on here. Again, that's just quality of life, and this isn't even a good one. It's only got 82 to life. I have a better headpiece I should probably even put on anyways, but increased elemental damage with attacks, physical damage, you know, just anything like the basic, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. As I was leveling up, if I ever did run into trouble with the Tabula Rasa not having defense, I have all this crap laying around in my stash. Like I said, we're in standard, so I threw this on, but it's meh. I only used it for the life and resistances, and because it's the only thing I have with defense that's 5 linked, because I cannot get anything to link. I may be lucky in other places, I cannot get links. So I used that to help as we were leveling up. I threw this on for the massive amount of life that you get from it. This isn't even a good one, though. It's only 31 to max life. Anyway, I threw that on to get me through Uber Lab, and that's also when I threw these gloves on for the little bit of extra life. As I was leveling up, I was using these things, which are great for added damage, but they have no life and only cold resistance. To show you what I mean, just I'll make sure nothing gets turned off, sorry. 6,410 damage with these gloves. You throw these little things on, and you're up to 76. Holy crap. See? Huge damage boost, but there's no life on them. Oops, go look at that. See, 5,400 life. And 56 with these gloves. That's still really, really low. You throw that on, it's 5,700 life. That's still very low. I mean, glass cannon build. Throw on the belly of the beast. I'm over 6,000, and again, that got me through Uber Lab. Now, I have my resistances up and maxed right now. I wanted them like that way in a Tabula Rasa. I was trying to get my life up so I would be comfortable in a Tabula Rasa. It didn't really work, but I did it because I was thinking of throwing this on. Again, just more quality of life. It looks like it would be awesome for Flicker Strike. It would give you +2 to level of the gym, 10% increased attack speed, 50 increased damage with Flicker Strike. It's got a bunch of evasion. This is a evasion and life build, so that's great. You got 10% movement speeds for when you run, 15 attack and cast speed after you've used Flicker Strike. It'd be great, but there's no life or resistances. So I was trying to get it set up with a Tabula where I'd be comfortable. Didn't really work, but whatever. So anyways, I know it's dragging on as always. Oh, that also reminds me, when you're running these and it's 5 linked, you also have an extra. When I ran into that, I would have Herald of Ice. I'd take it out, I put it in here. I would recolor this to red. I put my Veil Haste over here, whatever. And then that allowed me to use Rallying Cry, which gives you mana regen and increased damage. That's great. It helps you when you're leveling up. Really helps you one-shot the groups so you can, you know, just move through there quickly and level up quickly. So, obviously, Herald of Ice. And I was lucky enough to find one of these rings to give me more room, so Herald of Ash is in the ring. Those are both just for added damage and for increased AoE effect. Poacher's Mark, running on Blasphemy, just so you don't ever have to worry about it, and that's perfect for your sustain, like we saw earlier. Ancestral Warchief, oh man, they came out with the Veil Ancestral Warchief, and this guy is awesome now. I think you might have been able to see in a couple of the clips, he can keep up with you when you flicker, it's nice. But if you've seen any of my other videos, you might have noticed I put increased duration with my Ancestral Warchiefs. I don't know why, I guess I never noticed that your totem lasts 12 seconds no matter what you do, and so it was kind of a waste. Maybe that's a bug, I don't know. Either way, from now on, my Ancestral Warchief setup is going to be Ancestral Warchief, faster attacks, melee physical or elemental damage, depending on whichever gym does more damage on that particular build. And then here's the crown jewel now, Culling Strike, and I don't know why the hell I never thought about that before. And that's why in some of my clips it looks like the bosses their health bars don't go all the way down and then they just die. That would be the Culling Strike on the Warchiefs. And for anyone who's wondering, if you have an Ancestral Warchief and you have no totem investment on your tree, yes, you can still have your Warchief and the Veil Ancestral Warchief out at the same time. And when they are both out, the DPS from that is amazing. It really is. I feel like there's probably a nerf coming very soon. So, moving on. Cast when damage taken, Immortal Call. For defense, and so it'll make you invulnerable for a little while. Increased duration on that, so it'll last a little bit longer. In that same setup now, I'm throwing in, I don't care about the haste, I care about the Veil haste. That will not activate when you take damage because of this. This gem does not support the Veil haste, so it's in this setup for increased duration to kind of group everything together and use less sockets, you know. So faster attacks, Fortify, Whirling Blades is my movement skill. Alright, okay, Flicker Strike, Multi-Strike, Melee Physical, Added Fire, because it does more than added cold at the moment for whatever, Elemental Damage, and Melee Splash for more AoE effect when you're clearing. However, if you want to do more single target damage with it, you can swap that out for something else. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. Look in Path of Building. And that brings us to, everyone's going to be yelling at me, I'm going to report you. Your video said Molten Strike and Flicker Strike. What the hell? Why did I see Blade Fury? Because it's only a personal choice. What I really should have titled this was Whatever the Hell You Want and Flicker Strike, because that's the way it works out. Anything that works out with physical and elemental damage as a single target skill is going to be great here. And honestly, I've used Molten Strike many times before in many other videos. We all know it works great and it just melts bosses. We already know that. Another skill that I've wanted to use like Flicker Strike since the beginning is Blade Flurry. So I figured, fuck it, I'm putting it on because it's green and it matches my damn build. So there you go. Now I'll shut up. And so my single target, Blade Flurry, melee physical, added fire, elemental damage with attacks. And there you go. That's all of this crap. That reminds me while we're right here, because of my Ascendancy, because of the way I went on my Ascendancy, I normally go up through to take the phasing and then all the way up to the other one that makes you immune to elemental elements while phasing. I did not do that this time, so I do not have a sulfur flask here as normal. I didn't know what to throw on, but I am a crit build, so I just threw on a damn diamond flask. Okay, so we'll come down here. Alira, see, we are, I guess, a crit build. I don't have very much crit on the gear, but that's what we took, was the girl with the crit multiplier and resistances and mana regen. Very nice. So, alright. Diamond Flask to help with the crit, Sulfur Flask for damage, Basalt Flask, increased melee physical damage reduction, and my typical 2 flasks, 1 instant with whatever the hell you want. I always put bleeding, and 1 with increased recovery rate and whatever the hell you want. Getting into it, so as we saw, Way of the Poacher is the first one I took in my Ascendancy. Gain Frenzy Charge on kill and when you hit a rare or unique enemy. And then up to Avatar of the Slaughter to gain 1 additional more Frenzy Charges and all that attack speed, damage, and movement speed per Frenzy Charge. Now, this is where I said I came the other direction on this build, so we came this way after Merciless Lab, 20% increased attack damage and chance to gain Onslaught, because I wanted to try this one. Not so much for the 100% increased Onslaught effect and to see how much damage that would add, or the 20% increased attack damage during Onslaught. I wanted to check out the 25% more chance to evade melee and projectile attacks during Onslaught. I wanted to see how well that would work, and that brings me to this, which I really will not get into it. We've seen it 500 times, and it brings me right back to that, don't be afraid of the tree. It's illusion of choice. This is like the 10th time now, 500th time, who knows, that I've come through this same path, because it's like the best path for this choice. Why? +1 to maximum frenzy charges. +1, that's 2. 3. 4 frenzy charges, plus the 3 that your character gets. That's a 7 total frenzy charges without ever having to buy a piece of gear to get it. It always runs up through here, and that always puts you right next to acrobatics and phase acrobatics, which on an evasion and life build, I imagine is a lot of people love it. I have not personally played around with it too much because I always get into that glass cannon way of thinking, and I figure I'll just do damage and I'll get to it later. I never did. Molten Strike, again, I have the 2 jewel nodes here. If you put in the Wildfire Crimson Jewels, they give you 15% increased attack fire damage, and the plus to Molten Strike stuff, the 25% increased area of effect, and +2 projectiles, and you put 2 of those jewels in, 1 here, 1 down here, then your Molten Strike will absolutely melt everything. And you know, you work on a piece of armor to give you the life, which I am currently getting from the jewels I put in. But so that's all I had to do to switch from Molten Strike to Blade flurry. Sorry. We're just rambling on now, and I'm sorry. I'm getting out of it. Lightning resistance, because again, I was just trying to get my resistances up while I'm in a tabula rasa. And again, I'm not really going to go over this, because what's the point? That's what Path of Building is for. And I guess, is there anything else? I don't know. I can't think of anything. Is there anything else I forgot? So why even have a single target skill on this build anyways then? Well, because like I said earlier, you will not get 100% flicker sustain with this build. So you will want something to help you with bosses. You can choose a skill that does so much damage that you would prefer to put that into your 6 link and use that to just melt bosses for you and progress you through the game, while having flicker strikes in a 4 link or even a 5 or 6 link pair of Shaper or Elder gloves or boots if you can find some, and just use flicker strike for clearing. Either way works, I'm sure, but damage is the real key to my sustain. I sustain frenzy charges so well while mapping because I do enough damage to kill the enemies and gain frenzy charges without having to hit them too many times. You need to gain charges faster than you use them, and this build does that very well, but only on kill. So at a boss, that 20% chance to gain a frenzy charge when hitting a unique enemy that you get from your Ascendancy is not enough to sustain your charges. You cannot depend on that alone. So really it's up to you, I guess, just whichever feels the best to you as you're leveling it up and going through, and go that route. But there are a few times when I run into blues or purples that are so tanky that I start to lose frenzy charges on them before they start dying. So in that situation, a more powerful single target-ish, and I say target-ish because Molten Strike and Blade Flurry are both AoEs, but they do more single target damage, you know what I mean. A more powerful single target-ish skill will not only help you start dropping those tankier enemies and progress, before they kill you, but will also help you start building up your frenzy charges again, and then you can continue to flicker on your way. What else did I forget? Oh, some may have noticed the enchantment on Starkania's head that I'm wearing. I remember now that was the reason why I had that one on, even though it had such a low life roll. I was using it because the enchantment was 40% increased Ancestral War Chief damage. And yeah, I guess that would definitely add to why they just smash the hell out of the bosses for you, huh? I don't know how much they do, but like I said, they are amazing together, so I guess definitely an enchantment to look out for if you can get it. And the last little thing I can think of, there are 3 nodes on the skill tree that are only giving a little bit of resistance and a total of 48% increased evasion. I only put those in because I was in a tabula rasa. However, I suppose those aren't bad at all if you're running a Queen of the Forest chest piece in your version of the build, because of the increased movement speed per evasion rating that you get from that. But otherwise, those 3 could probably be removed to put elsewhere if needed. And the jewels, I didn't really say, if you're not struggling for resistances like I was, then you put different jewels in there with more damage, more life, whatever you need. And yeah. Okay, that's enough blabbering for me. Yeah, he's finally gonna shut up. And I think that about covers everything, but don't be afraid to leave any questions you may have in the comments, and as always now, I will leave a link in the description for Path of Building, which I did not go over in this because we don't want the video to go on even longer than it already has, so I will just mark the levels up in Path of Building, and then I will set the tree up the way that I would most likely do the build, like I said. So I will most likely include that chest piece, the bronze Lithe, whatever the hell you want to call it. Be on the lookout for that in Path of Building, and then you can all just take it from there. And if you are playing in the Challenge League, then good luck. Have fun, everyone, and hopefully I'll catch you all again. Alright, hold up. If you managed to actually hang on this long, then thank you. I really do appreciate it, knowing that all my work putting these videos together isn't just going completely to waste. Hit that subscribe button, become part of the Rhyme team, and help the channel grow into something more. As a little show of appreciation to those of you who did manage to hang on this long, because I know these videos really do drag out, I wanted to share a little something with you that I came across. As I was running a shaped channel map, something very unusual happened. Now, I don't know if there was a special group of monsters with like a special enchantment or mods or something like that, but you don't just drop 3 humilities in a matter of seconds. I mean, what the... I wanted to run more shaped channel maps to explore this weirdness, but unfortunately I didn't have any more left. However, while running the very next map, Mud Geyser or something, I came across Zana, and one of her mission options was a shaped channel map, so of course I ran it. a humility dropped from the very first group. So that was 4 cards in just a couple of minutes. Again, I don't know if there's anything to this or not. It did not drop another card for the entire rest of that map, even though it dropped on the first group. So I don't know. I'm just reporting on what I experienced. Shaped channel, maybe a place to grind? Or maybe I just got lucky as shit. It's up to you to decide. But if any of you out there do try it and you end up with a bunch of cards from it, then rock the hell on. And hopefully, I'll catch you all again next time.